Y'all know it takes a special track to do this. I'm on my P's and Q's, dripping sauce. It's just the fluid, it's the chef. I'm here to remind y'all I'm sick with it. My name is stuff that's hot, it's ubiquitous. Meaning it's one and the same, simple and plain. I'm all about my paper, the bacon, cheddar, and pain. I got these lanes running for the border. The talented Mr. Porter, keep it flowing like it's water. But here we go, there we go, creeping to a low speed. Is it him and his friend sitting in the nosebleeds? Play it cool, he ain't special just cause he's on TV. Everybody's hands up, acting like they know we. Welcome to another episode of the Taste Music Here Food Podcast Show. I am your host, Ed Porter. This is the place for food, music, and culture and how they all connect. Today, we have an amazing pillar of why this whole thing exists as far as what hip-hop was meant to do and how it brings people together in the community of it all. So before we even get started, I have to give this man his just due flowers, and my best way to do that is with this intro. So here we go. Tonight's guest is a true architect and culture connector. From the raw energy of Lawrence, Mass, to commanding airwaves in major markets like Boston, D.C., Cleveland, and the Twin Cities, he's been a trusted voice in hip-hop for over 2 decades. A DJ, radio host, media personality, and master interviewer himself. He sat down with everyone from Kendrick to Kevin Hart, always bringing the realness and respect for the culture. But more than that, he's a storyteller, a curator of moments that live between the beat drops and the truth-telling. Whether spinning records, mentoring talent, or building community, he brings attention into every move. This is the flavor of legacy. This is the sound of respect earned. Please welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Peter Parker.
This is unbelievable.
Listen,
so I cash app you after this? How do this is crazy? Ed, that was the most beautiful thing anyone has ever said. That's so nice.
I have such a reverence for everyone that I want to talk to.
Yeah.
And so the best way to pay that homage to you is to do you right with, and again, I wholeheartedly believe that true creatives that just do it for the love of it have a hard time patting himself on the back.
Oh, man.
And so like you
I
can
couldn't believe how nice it was. I keep going, man.
Yeah.
But I think you nailed it though, because I really do care. Me and my buddy, I have a really close friend from Detroit named KB, and we grew up together playing ball back in the day. And we joked that he said, "Man, you really love hip hop, man." And he loved gangster rap, and we talk about culture a lot. And he always says, "Man, you love the culture." And I was like, I really do. I really love the group of people in the room and the sneakers, the hats, the lingo, the everything that comes along with the concerts and the clubs and the whole thing. Yeah.
And it's a lifestyle. You can tell. Here's the thing. You cannot fake authenticity, right? You can't manufacture realness. Like the shit is very much, you can see through it. And so you can also detect when something's super duper authentic. And so, and you can't listen to either it's been authentic or for 20 years, you need an Oscar.
I'm no Drake. I'm no Drake, man. No, I really am not that good of an actor. I can't sing at all. Yeah. My acting range is very limited.
How's your look in the wheelchair? Can you do the Jimmy
wheelchair
thing?
Jimmy? I could probably pull that move off. You know what I mean? But nah. This has really been a labor of love. I love what I do. I love people. I had a guidance counselor ask me in high school. They were like, when I was graduating, I kind of knew what I wanted to do in my mind. Like, I was like, I could be like Bob Barker. Like, I could be on television. Like, I'm like, in my mind, gonna be a celebrity. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there in my mind, but this is what I'm trying to do as a kid. And she's like, well, what do you think you could do? And I was like, well, she was like, well, what are you good at? And I was like, making people smile. And she like looked at me and she's like, what are you gonna do with that? I'm like, I think I'm gonna figure something out. But like, in my mind, that was like the easiest answer. Like, what I enjoy poking at people, joking, and how before we did this, we were laughing in here. You guys don't know, me and him have been hanging out for 20 minutes before this, busting each other's balls with the hats and everything like that. But like, that's really what I love to do, is interact with people, and then the conduit of sharing music and culture is the connector.
Absolutely.
And the hat is a signal. The sneakers is a signal when you're connecting with other like-minded people out in the field. When we were starting, no social, so you walk into the mall, I see them Jordans.
Absolutely.
Oh, I see that hat. Where'd you get that hat? And now you're making a friend off the hat. It's like, yeah. So it's always been a part of it, you know? So
talking about, your love for it and how let's get into the that eureka moment for you.
Oh man.
That first off,
there's a moment.
Anybody who's ever been to Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Lawrence is crazy.
Lawrence is crazy.
Lawrence is a rough city. I was born in Lawrence.
It's super rough, right? And so, how do you go from, wanting to do all the things you want to do, in a place like that, and make hip hop that conduit to make
the story's even crazier. So I was born in that area in like the Merrimack Valley in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and then my parents and my family, we moved into like New Hampshire. So I grew up about 30 minutes north of Lawrence, about 45 minutes to an hour north of Boston.
Gotcha.
In a really, for like the first 10 years of my life, in like a super secluded little small town. With like no access to culture or anything. So as I was getting a little older, 9, 10 years old, MTV, my dad had MTV in like the early 80s, like when it first came on so he could watch ESPN.
Right.
So I was watching MTV as it was breaking. Like I'm talking about glued to a Michael Jackson for the first time.
Right.
Everything for the first, I'm watching everything for the first time. Run DMC and Aerosmith. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Crazy. So I was really put in a situation where with no phones, no like older kids in the neighborhood. So my imagination was like really put to the test.
Right.
And when I stumbled on, it was the gateway for me. The first time I heard Run DMC, low-key like scared me. I did not know what I was listening to. I heard Mary Mary. I was like, what is this? Right. I did not know really what it was when I first heard it. And then parents just don't understand with Will Smith and them. That was so easy to digest.
Right.
But when I'd be out, like, my dad would send me out, like, pull the weeds up in the backyard, like, get outside. And I would listen on the Walkman to the B-side of the scratching and the beatboxing. And that was really the beginning of, like, the DJing and the storytelling, because the singles are big on that. But the culture of that album, He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper, is phenomenal. The B-side is great. All the beatbox stuff, Ready Rock C, he's amazing. So that really got me really excited about it. But then when I was in like the 5th or 6th grade, a buddy of mine had left a bag at my house and there was like cassette inside of it. It was a Maxell A-side, B-side type of dub tape. You could like, whatever, was like multicolored. And the A-side was Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
Oh, yeah,
and the B-side was Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted.
That's a crazy...
So I put in America's Most Wanted and heard the first song on America's Most Wanted where he's saying, fuck you, Ice Cube, on his own record. Mm-hmm. And I blew my mind that someone could have a record with the chorus screaming F you on the chorus to them.
Himself, yeah.
It spoke to me in vault. I was 11 or 10. It spoke to me. I'm like, this is it. And I just, at that point now, it was like an explosion. And this is like 1990. So Belle Biv DeVoe was huge. Yeah. Like all these Hammers really just done his thing. Vanilla, it's a huge explosion of hip hop. And I was going into junior high school right when that was happening. And that was the beginning. At that point now, I'm like, this is my thing. I'm dancing to like running, jumping through my leg. Three lines.
Yep.
3 lines in your eyebrows, trying to wild out. Like I was a completely. And then the kids that I was going to school with now in junior high school, they were coming from more city environments, and now it's like, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
And it was just like, oh yeah, this is my thing.
So that's probably a good segue for you later on in life now when you started doing college radio, because now you're exposing the younger versions of yourself to just that
up to that point. Absolutely. Up to that point, I made so many friends sharing music. So like I would see a person going through a hard time in school, like someone getting picked on in school, and I would be like, hey, I'll borrow my tape for the night, or like listen to this.
Right.
A kid got transferred to my school, my buddy Leeds, when he was a kid, and he's big, the big guy. They're whooping him every day, fighting in the hallway because he's the biggest kid in school.
Right.
He's sitting in the thing like this in home ec. He got the Metallica on his back. I'm like, you like heavy metal, bro? I'm like, and I pass him Ice Cube, the Predator. I'm like,
this is for you.
Check this out, bro. He comes in the next day, no jean jacket, just eager. Like, what you got? I'm like, you ever heard of Tribe Called Quest? I'm like, here we go. And I got him hooked out. And this is my best friend. This guy, God bless him, for 30 years of my life.
That's dope.
Yeah, so the sharing of the music For me and my personality, it was the connector of like, oh, I got the music. So becoming a DJ to have the music is
it's the natural.
It's
the
the
natural
peak of what I could.
Oh
be.
yeah, but you're still at your core. You're the same guy because you're just connecting. You're connecting the dots, right?
I love sharing.
what's hot.
I love sharing the stuff. And then I would go to these like junior high school dances, and they would be like this square, bald, older guy in the back playing them, and I'd be, he doesn't know what the right records are. He doesn't know the records.
Right.
And then I was like, I know the records.
Right.
So then I go and I finagle the turntables for my parents, like sophomore year of high school. I'm 15, and now we're like trying to show up with this shit and figure it out. And, and nobody would teach you. Nobody would teach you. You have to figure it out.
I gotta say that in those days too, specifically, learning how to DJ was like learning how to play the harmonica. Like nobody, there's nobody teaching that shit.
Nobody's gonna teach.
Nobody's teaching that.
There's no there's no YouTube.
You can't watch nothing. You can't. You just gotta fuck some turntables and some needles up.
You gotta figure it out. My first pair was from Upstairs Records in the back of the Source from Harlem. I ordered the starter pack with the belt drive joints.
The Geminis.
You can't even cut on them.
Yeah, those are Geminis.
So dude,
I had those too.
A labor of love, man, and doing the high school dances and Sweet 16s and everything, and just being like, this is gonna be my little platform of how I'm gonna make money and connect with people. And another thing, when I was young, like 14 or so, a lot of my friends started doing like experimenting with drugs and drinking really heavily. It was really like shocking for me. And I had a parent that had been going through struggles with alcohol and was sober at the time, but I wasn't into drinking or drugs or anything like that. So the DJing gave me an opportunity to be a part of my peer group and not participate. Right. So then I would be able to go to the house parties and DJ, and everybody's going crazy. And this is ecstasy's getting introduced and ketamine and crazy drugs. And I'm like in the corner sober, like, oh, this is rocking, like just playing whatever. You know what I mean? Like just kind of low-key dodging the bullet in a way, like trying to, but I wanted to be included.
Yeah. So it helped. Still was the coolest thing.
It helped me a lot.
All right, so we're going to play a little game.
Yeah.
We call it On the Fly.
Go ahead.
All right, so it is going to be a fast-paced word association type thing. I'm going to give you a word or a phrase.
Okay.
And you're going to say the first thing that comes to mind.
Let's go.
Okay? It's called On the Fly. All right, first.
Yeah.
You got one mic and one verse.
Yeah.
Who's spitting it?
Rakim. 86 Rakim, 87 Rakim.
Okay.
But okay, like classic Rakim of that era, Paid in Full, Follow the Leader Rakim.
Yeah. Every president.
Okay. Yeah, that but that's the dream. Modern day right now, anybody that I could pick right now to spit on it? Nas.
Nas is my guy.
Arguably the greatest.
Yeah. He's you know.
Like you get a Nas verse. I mean, what else? Shout out to my buddy Static Selector works with Nas and has records with Nas. This blows my mind. You know, it's amazing. Yeah.
All right. What's the one record you never leave out of a set?
Oh, Remo. What is it? What happened to that boy? I play that every time I DJ. I love that beat.
It's a smash, though. Yeah.
It's like a guilty, but that way, the way that the Neptunes production comes.
First off, that's quintessential Neptune. So that's when. That's
prime, perfect.
Yeah, so that's when they had 45% of the airwaves,
and the record blends with everything. Anything it creeps in really well.
Oh, and the sonically it cuts through anything.
It's a great record. I mean, that would be the first record that comes to mind that I play every single time.
Okay.
I DJ.
Craziest thing you've seen go down in a radio studio, uncensored version though.
Oh man. I'm gonna remove one name from this.
Take all the names out.
Okay, there's no. Okay, I just don't want to get into this like that. But in Boston on Sunday nights they had a radio show, and it was sponsored by some guys in town, and they spoke about these guys on the air, and then they turned around and the dudes were all in the studio. So it was like they really like put themselves into a corner. Like these dudes were in the studio ready for action.
Yeah.
Like I've seen stuff like that. Like I've seen people do after hours stuff that's really crazy, like really risking it all, bringing females into the building late at night and stuff. I've seen some crazy stuff like that. Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out.
was always so happy and lucky to be there
Right.
that I was always on my best behavior. Because I was like, 9 times out of the 10, I was the only white guy at the black radio station. They're like, he sound good, but I don't know. And, like, and I'm like, just trying. And then, I was always like trying to just make it work. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
All right. What's more nerve-wracking? DJing a stadium crowd or interviewing a rap legend? So, and the reason why I asked that, because we do know. So you can pull up a million different video clips of a hip hop. And the reason I say hip hop legend, because when you get to a certain point, they make it hard to be interviewed on purpose.
This is real. It is very difficult to interview someone that you really enjoy.
Right.
If you listen to their music, you're gonna show up and think you know them, and they don't know you.
Right.
And that's kind of the hard part, because I'm a fan first. I love hip hop. I want to share it with people, and I'm like Chris Farley from Saturday Night Live. Idiot, like that's me. I'm like, yo, Rakim, remember when you made Paid in Full? That was really great. Right. Like, no, but like I got a chance. One time I did an interview series on the red carpet at the BET Awards, BET Hip Hop Awards. I mean, Future, Q-Tip, all these, Khaled, all these people coming down. But when I saw Rakim, I told my partner I was with to shut the mics off, shut the cameras off, and I just wanted to thank him and talk to him. Yeah. And I didn't. I probably could have gotten pictures and a full interview, but for me personally, and I was chasing Kendrick that day. I was fighting for interviews with really talented people, but when he came, I was like, shut it. It was such an instinct. I didn't even think about it. I didn't prepare that, but my instinct was shut it down.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
For what you've done for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nah, that's dope. All right. Describe your DJ style in 3 words.
Oh my God, man. An absolute train wreck. I throw myself under the bus when I DJ. I don't prepare anything.
3 words.
A fucking train wreck. Yo, shit dope, though.
It's a dope train wreck.
A dope train wreck.
Yeah, who doesn't like a train wreck?
I'm an improv performer. Yeah. So sometimes it can just be, but I'm really throwing myself into it, dog. Yeah. I'm all in. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What song instantly brings you back to Lawrence, Mass in the 90s?
Man, I would say it takes me back to when I was young. I would say it would be an 80s record.
Okay.
I would tell you what my childhood screams Def Leppard.
Okay.
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
So
my mother's 85 Ford Escort. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So this is what's dope about the 80s, right? Specifically the mid 80s. There was a point in time to where there was so much melding of just music and culture, right?
Yeah.
And so like everybody listened to that shit.
Yo, music is awesome. I love
everybody.
Yeah.
Listened to
100%.
these songs. Like, and everybody's seen Rad.
Massive pop records written really well.
Exactly.
Yo, like Bobby Brown, Every Little Step. Hanging Tough, New Kids on the Block.
Yes.
Things like recordes that
I noticed you keep naming all these Boston acts.
I would say stuff like Bell Biv DeVoe, Poison. You know what I mean? Like, I think New Edition, Cool It Now. You know what I mean?
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Maurice Starr all the way.
Okay. Hits, B.
So,
you know
they are hits.
Yeah.
Undeniables. You know what's crazy too is that, because of these things, and you've been in the room and a part of and witnessed like a mass amount of people's come ups. So like you've been privy.
Seen everybody from 02 to now.
Yes, which is crazy. You're like how I feel. So my claim to fame is I've had every cereal from like 85 to now.
You're like cereal head.
Yeah, I'm into this.
The novelty stuff of the 80s was the best ever.
Listen, crazy.
It's
right?
like the
you gotta be dedicated.
Cereals and stuff.
Ghostbusters, Mr. T All-Star Crunch.
Yes.
Nerds, Smurfberry Crunch, all the above.
Yes.
You were that for all of these crazy ascensions from nothing to something. And you've interviewed and talked to like the who's who of just the industry.
It was a part of the job, but it was also like the greatest little like gift you could get, like being able to talk to someone like J. Cole, or like I sat with Kendrick. There's an interview you probably saw on the internet with me in a room with Kendrick when the Good Kid, Mad City. That was the week that Good Kid Mad City had dropped. So he was really new. I knew what he was. I knew what it was going to be, but you never know it's going to be this. Like Wiz Khalifa, the first time I saw him, I was like, this kid is like 6'5" with these tattoos. Something going on with this kid. And then I kind of was in the beginning too, like I thought he was cool. I was into it, but then I watched him and I was like, oh, he's gonna do it.
Yeah, he's moving different.
And then he was doing Ustream when we weren't even doing that.
Exactly.
And then I saw that effort and then I watched it crack, bro. It was really crazy.
You were doing what DJs do though. You were, helping to break artists, but in a unique way.
You know where I got it from? From Clue. So, because I remember the Clue freestyles when he had Nori and Cannabis and all of them when they were brand new. So if you can get the guys when they're new and hot first, you can ride the wave with them going into the game. And I learned from guys like Clinton Sparks and my man Chubby Chub, these guys, great Boston DJs that were like branding. The brand, like what is this thing? Right. It's Peter Parker, Spider-Man. What is that? What Mr.Peter? What does that stand for? And so you really have to position yourself with artists and brands in a very thoughtful way to pull this off.
Take me back to when you heard that generational talent, like a Mac Miller.
Yeah. Right? I have a great story. Mac. Okay. I used to talk to Mac when he was in high school on the phone in the cafeteria his senior year.
That's crazy.
Who kid called me to get Mac Miller's phone number because I was the only one that had it.
That's crazy.
Mac was a really good kid. He got into drugs really fast, and I remember it happening kind of fast for him, and it changed his personality a little bit. But overall, he was phenomenal. And he, even when I interviewed him, the long form stuff at Go 95, he was really thoughtful. He was really great. Yeah, I put a tweet out. I said, if Nas was a little white kid from the suburbs, Mac Miller took that and put it on his website, I remember. Because he would brand new artists at the time. It was like, this is before kids.
Yeah.
So I was able to, he gave me exclusive records. I used to speak with him, and he was a great kid, man.
Mac was one of those uber talented, like way too talented for his own good type. You know what I'm saying?
Savant, bro.
Yeah,
Savant.
for sure.
He said, he has a line. He said, I saw the brightest lights and I went for the hardest drugs. The talent and the spotlight are like sometimes can be oil and water. The gift that helps you create this wonderful thing. And even with Kendrick recently, I was saying to my wife, I was like, think of this guy. What is he, 5'5", 5'7", this little guy out there with 50,000 people singing along with the song. You got to be wired a certain way to even pull that off.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, man.
Nah, it's not.
You could have the talent and not have the thing to do that.
Yeah. There's a certain switch you got to be able to click to be able to put yourself in the right headspace to be able to shoulder that type of...
Dude, it's not a light thing. It's a heavy lift. And I've seen artists go through it backstage. I've seen guys come off stage looking like they left a piece of themselves out there. Yeah. I've seen guys looking for vices before they went on stage, trying to get through it. So like, and I'm talking about established guys who we know, you know what I mean, that were having struggles,
I would say the personification of the different places an artist goes through would be watching a DMX show. So,
oh, man.
So first off, there's not. I'll put it. Okay, the 3 best performances I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
2 of them were with Michael Jackson. So I saw.
Crazy! You saw Mike
twice.
God.
Yeah, at the Garden. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh my God.
Listen,
bro.
Michael Jackson had grown men cry. Mike couldn't do 3 fast songs in a row. They would do 2 fast songs and then a
prime MTV when Famous was really famous.
Yeah, exactly. And he was putting out a joint every 4 years. So it was like you had to wait for the Olympics to come out for Michael Jackson.
Everything was number 1. Yeah.
So to show you, there's a few people that have that kind of whatever that it is that make people feel a certain way. Grown men, so much so, and I'm gonna show you how. It's something about the aura. I was in Vegas. We went to the Michael Jackson Experience, right? The damn hologram had me in tears, bro.
Wow.
Like in fucking literal tears.
Yeah.
Like
He's
Heal
such
the
a
World
part of-
came on. Like
a
Heal
part
the
of our lives. Yeah,
there's
it really is.
there's a I believe I truly believe this with art. Whether I don't care what kind of art it is. If you can tap into emotion,
Yeah, that's what it is.
that's where it's at.
I always said with the radio, it's about making them feel something, whether they're angry at you or they're excited,
Something.
as long as they're feeling something. And then there was times in when I was doing B96 where the character I was kind of playing on B96 was a little bit more of an aggressive thing. And we were really like, yo, just trying to get people fired up. Like,
Right.
what can we get away with? What can we get them to talk about? Because it was such a disconnect before social media. You know, I was on like an island. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
Exactly.
Get them fucking mad. I mean, whatever.
The next to that feeling is
Yeah.
DMX.
Dude,
Because
98, man.
he ran you through the gauntlet, bro.
Oh,
Like
he
you
was the
go from
best.
how do you go from from growling to prayer to crying?
You
like,
saw the Hard Knock Life tour?
yeah, oh yeah.
Listen,
that was first off,
best.
he was whooping ass. He was he was
You drinking that blood, that like, the
yeah.
Alizé
The
and
Alizé
Henny,
and Henny, yeah.
No, I sound set in just the last big sound set they had. He was here, and I know his DJ is a heavy hitter. We're both in the same DJ crew, so nonstop. Shout to him, and he's like, "You want to meet X? You want to meet X?" I was like, "Definitely." So I go up into the trailer, and he's in there having like a sit down with Carl Anthony Towns. So it's X and Big Cat, and Cat's like sitting down for counsel. You know what I mean? Like, he's like leaning in, like
Right.
soaking in the game. And I walk in, I'm like, "Oh, excuse me, whatever." And we stand up, and I have a picture with Carl Anthony Towns and me and DMX. I didn't even look. I just turned to X, and I was like, "I just want to tell you, man, that you are one of the greatest. If you never heard this from
Right.
today, at least, you're one of the best to ever touch a microphone." And he was so gracious, man.
Yeah, he's so I met X through Wadeen.
Yeah.
And he
Family,
was
yeah.
Well, I was doing he was gonna do a restaurant thing that I was helping out with. But one of the stipulations is I gotta meet
Yeah,
I gotta
for
meet DMX, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I want to do the RC cars,
yeah,
whatever. right?
exactly.
Yeah,
I gotta meet X, yo. And so he was just a super
Yeah.
super duper humble.
Not
dude,
what
man.
you think.
Yeah,
You not
completely.
go, no,
Nah,
no.
nah.
He was so like cool,
Yeah.
man. And Bronx and Yonkers is like,
Yeah, and I used to live in Yonkers too. So we,
It's right there.
so we had the slow bond connection. So it
Right.
was some shit to go to.
it's very cool.
So who did you see early that you completely championed before they even thought about themselves being where they are now?
Oh wow, an artist or like a person?
D.
Somebody I championed early that didn't even see it in themselves.
Right.
Ooh. You know, I work with a lot of DJs, other DJs. It's rare for a DJ to be an advocate for other DJs. It's a
Facts.
very selfish thing. So I can think about 2, 3, 5 different guys that I put a lot of energy, a lot of information into, and they're flourishing and they're doing really well. And I never really expected, what I did want is everyone to be successful.
Mhm.
I didn't want to be the only one to have something and to have peers or people. And if I had to lift you up a little bit to get up with me, I would do that. And whatever that sacrifice is, to me, it was worth it to have a peer because I had to leave home for this. I couldn't bring any of my day ones with me, any of my real close friends. And to make friends on the fly at late 20s, early 30s can be challenging, especially when you're like talking to 400,000 people every week.
Facts. So who's the one? Who's the one person you could say that, and you don't have to give a name, but that you saw more about what their potential, what they, lack of a ceiling was more than they saw in themselves. Because, and the reason why I say that, because I also, with following your career, there's a lot of mentorship that you just naturally do, right?
Yeah, because if coming from sports, it's like a teaching thing. Like
Right.
I'm not going to be someone that's just going to take. And then I had so many DJs that I met on the way up, and they were awful, like sociopaths, like just rough, fucking really whack people, like not likable guys. And I just want to be the opposite of that. I can't really give you a name, but like interns that became friends, guys, local bar DJs that now are DJing on huge stages and stuff like
Right.
that. I'm proud of everybody,
Right.
and part of my career was sharing this stuff. It's a unique part of my specific career that sharing my stuff has been part of it.
Right. And a lot like, so the parallels between, DJing and even just music and the professional cooking field is the same. So it's a very much blood sport as far as
I
the
get it.
competition, right? So
Yeah.
very rarely, like you said, we run into, just like you said, you run into DJs that are complete, assholes, and there's chefs like that too.
I get it now though, why guys had walls up when I was younger. I was thinking about it last week. I'm like, oh, I get it. It's tough.
It makes sense, but
Yeah.
here's the other thing. So when you get to a certain point and comfortable with who you are in your own skin,
Mhm.
with your skill set,
Mhm.
and then what you bring to the table, you understand. And I would have to believe that you got to this point probably before you even thought about it. You get to a point to where you understand that, one, like you said, it's a communal thing
Mhm.
for many different aspects. But
Mhm.
two, I have no, like, I'm this way to this day. I have no problem sharing all that I know.
I've
And the
always
reason,
been like that. Yeah.
and the reason, here's the other reason. This is when I really came to grips with it. Here's the deal. I have no. I'll show and share with anybody all the knowledge that I have.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, on their best day, they can never do it how I do it.
No, this is you. Me and you are the same type of guy. David Banner gave me a really great interview early in my career when I was like an intern. I was in a studio, kind of typing on something. He comes walking in. I'm like, Banner, like really extroverted. Like he's like, yo, what's up? He walks in. We sit down for 45 minutes, do an interview. We're laughing. It's great. Like I never met him. He had play out, so he was popping.
Yeah.
We're laughing. He misses the interview that he's supposed to do in the main studio. And I'm afterwards, I'm like, well, yo, like, why did you waste an hour with me, man? And he's looked at me and he goes, I don't know who you're gonna become. And I was like, and it touched
Damn.
that really touched me. And I was like, oh, this is a really genuine guy. So Banner said that to me. And then I went on and used that interview on a demo tape that ended up getting me the job in Minnesota. So that interview helped me get this job out here. So then when I get the job and I'm having the success, it was kind of, even the beginning of my B96 success was a little bit beyond my expectations. Even at that point, I was like, whoa, this is a bigger deal than I thought I was going to be able to pull off. So I got to run with it.
Yeah.
I go back to New York and I see Banner. I'm like, there's some party. I tell the label rep, take me to the party. I got to see Banner. I got to go see Banner. So I go into the party and I go up to him and I'm like, you remember me? We spoke and you did this thing for me and you did this interview and I got a job because of it. And it's like changed my whole life. And he was like, all I ask is that you just pay it forward. And it was like a bell, like
Yeah.
bong. You're like, oh, okay, gotcha. And then I just from that point was like, how many people can I affect the way he affected me?
Nah, that's dope. That's dope.
Shout out to Banner. I spoke to him on the text like a couple weeks ago.
Banner's like,
that's the guy, bro.
For me, and I never met him, but he's one of those guys that he makes you feel like you know him if you've never met him.
Don't 100%.
Like just because of how he,
Yes.
and he just looks and presents to be super duper genuine, and I can't see it.
I went and boxed with him. When I was training, I was working with like trainers out here boxing, and I took him to a gym, and we both had like trainers in the thing, and we were both like working out, and you like doing this thing, and you look over, and it's you can't become unfamous.
Yeah,
you see, homie from the video is in the ring with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're throwing hands, and you're like, man, it's like, he's just a wonderful guy, man.
Yeah.
And that relationship early on gave me a lot of confidence. They're like, oh, this guy is giving me two minutes of his time,
Yeah, that's dope. So speak to me about, and we touched on this a little earlier. Well, you did as well, about being the white guy. Right, so I know that there's
something I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, man, you can't shake it.
No, it's on me, man.
But there's a thing. So I, in my humble opinion, I believe that hip hop is the most inclusive genre of music to ever exist.
I love it.
And there's nothing that will ever come close. There's DNA from every other genre of music embedded into hip hop.
Yes.
The reason why I believe that most hip hop heads doesn't have biases is because they have a reverence for the art. Therefore, you have to have a reverence for the people.
100%.
And that's why music is the conduit to eradicate
Yes.
all the nonsense.
I believe that we talked about this on the phone with the explosion of mainstream hip-hop in the early 90s going into the 90s, the television shows that were kind of played out, whether it was Martin or Fresh Prince, or you go back to like Good Times, or even my family watched the Cosby Show every time it was on. It was kind of like mainstreaming and kind of connecting us. And hip-hop it's tough to hate somebody that you admire. And when the way that things were playing out in the 90s, whether it was Shaq or Jordan or Penny Hardaway or Ice Cube or whoever, there was a plethora of people for me to admire. Right. And then when you learn the stories of these guys, where they really come from, and how this music was really created, who created this music, where it really comes from, it becomes like a whole nother deeper thing that you can really delve yourself into. A lot of people just take I like this record, I like the sound, but we were like, diving into it a little deeper.
Absolutely. So talk to me about how hip hop as a whole, as a community, has made you to feel no different than. So I think,
I believe you. I know where you're going.
I know where you're going because
when we speak, it's not, it's like I'm talking to a kindred soul, like a kindred spirit. Absolutely. When we are speaking, and we come from pretty different parts of close but different parts. Yeah, this is a unique thing. I'm a pretty authentic guy. I've always have been. I have a lot of friends of all nationalities and things, but because of my talent or whatever, how I played it through sports and through this, being accepted in places where people like me may not be accepted, I'm aware of this. And being aware that maybe because of my blue eyes or whatever, I got into certain situations, it was like a trick. I'd be like, I infiltrated the system, right? I got us in here, right? And I would just open the doors up for all the real street shit. And I would be like, it was like, ha, 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 ha. You thought I was one of you. No, it goes back to, and this is fairly deep, growing up, having friends and being a person that really loves people, genuinely, and having some whack friendships, kids treating me weird. Like shit was weird sometimes with some of the kids growing up in New Hampshire. When I got back to Lawrence when I was 14 or 15, now I'm seeing different things. When my basketball talent got me to Bridgeton Academy with kids from New York City and Detroit, this was the beginning of, okay, these guys are very cool, very serious guys, and they're showing me respect. Kids that are street kids hustling from the boys club, got them to the prep school. Right. This is the toughest kid I've ever played ball with, and we both really love Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt, and we're connecting, and he's passing me the ball on the fast break. This is where I'm supposed to be. So for me, if I'm looking at the group, I was taught don't sweat anybody that doesn't sweat you. So if people are going to be weird over here, I'm going to go over here. If people are being really friendly over here, guess who's sitting in the back of the cafeteria watching fucking BET? Me. You know what I mean? And I'm with the guys. Right. And I had this wonderful moment when I was in prep school. We were on a tournament, a guy robbed our room. He stole like an Averex leather jacket from me, a Nintendo 64, my whole room got robbed. And I kind of figured out who did it, and I was like, I think that kid did it. I can tell the jealousy of this kid. He's a weird kid from West Virginia, and I think my style rubbed him the wrong way. So he's like, I'm gonna steal that shit. So I come back, and I'm like, yo, man did it. You know what I mean? And he came in the room, and he's real huff and puff, and I'll buy this whole dorm. Rich kid, third time at the prep school, been failing SATs. You know what I mean? So he's in there huffing and puffing. He's mad because he can't get into whatever school he want to get into. So all right, cool. So then it goes around school that he's going to beat me up. And I'm like, oh, word. So we're in the cafeteria in this big-ass room. And I'm in the back with the guys. And I'm like this, like an animal, like a wolf. In the back like this, just looking at this kid. And I look at Kay and I'm like, watch. I go, watch this. I just get up. And this is 250 athletes in 45 minutes northwest of Portland in the middle of the woods, all training to be like scholarship athletes. This is like prep school it's like a serious business. Class A New England prep. Big deal. So I get up in front of the whole school and I walk down and I sit across from the kid. This is a fucking defensive end.
Yeah.
This guy's got shoulders on. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's like your size, but bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm me. You know what I mean? I've never been bigger than this. So I'm like sitting down and I go, hey, man, I was like, I heard you're going to beat me up. And he's like, I am, I said. And I said, I look at him, I go, you should do it right now. I said, you should do it right now. And I'm like cooked at this point. And I look, and my friend KB from Detroit is getting up and walking around in front of the room. And he sits down next to me. And he's like, are you ready? And I go, you should do it right now. And everybody's waiting. And I go like this to his tray. And I go, dump his fucking tray on the ground in the cafeteria. And everybody's, you know, it's all athletes in the 90s.
All the testosterone. Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we going to do, buddy? And KB was so scary. Nigerian kid, he's like, that kid folded like origami. This is not experiences that you ever forget for your whole life. Yeah. I just took you on a journey just now.
So that kid he's one of those kids that end up on Jenny Jones, right? He's been in the gym for like 20 years straight.
He's still trying to make it. They're not going to accept you guys. It's not going to happen. And then I speak to my friend Kay 2 days ago. Like he's in Dallas. He's doing amazing things.
Okay, so super producer Gabe, we're beating on the table too much. So
I'll bust this fucking thing open.
We're not getting feedback. All right, so
I'm sorry.
It's gonna be an editing nightmare. All right, so
my bad.
No, I should have cut it in. Well, I was like, God, someone's got lead fingers in there.
It's me, bro. Bang.
I see. You just had it's a cafeteria backflash. You know,
no, it happens, bro. I'm sorry. But look, dude, ask me like of me and you kind of worded it in a way that was eloquent of me kind of being accepted in a way. I don't take it lightly. I'm honored. You know what I mean? And that type of relationships don't.
But I also think so. This is it's one of those things that you have to approach with care because there is a certain reverence.
Yeah.
That the coach gives any participant.
Yes. And
so you have to be. So I don't care black, white, or green. You still have to be accepted. So you can be of of a certain race and still not be accepted into the coaching.
I know a handful of guys like that.
You know what I'm saying? So I know a shit ton of guys like that. Yeah. And so the fact is when you get that stamp, like okay, you're one of us. It's not something that I think anybody should take lightly. I believe that is the major difference between the golden era and today. Yes, the barrier to entry is a lot lower.
Oh my God. There's no barrier.
That's my point.
But I was hazed and watched for the right reasons.
Right.
To make sure that I was in it for the right reasons. And like when I joined Heavy Hitters and I became part of that DJ crew, and my buddy Haitian Pat was like, we watched you for 10 years. And I was like, there's like an olive branch or something ever? Like, I'm here, bud. No, but they, guys switched up. Yeah. EDM music came around, looked appealing, people switched up. And I kind of just has been my mission from the beginning, you know what I mean? Is staying true to this stuff.
Gabe's gonna kill us.
Sorry, buddy. I have ADHD. I cannot control any of this, so.
So do I, so I'm going crazy back here.
I'm the wrong guest.
And reflect, so you've done a lot of like major things specifically on radio and a lot of markets. So this is like something that most don't ever get to touch.
It's amazing, bro.
So how you can bounce. So before, when I'm talking about even non-syndicated shows, I'm talking about actually being in the market.
Yeah, go move in
the market.
Yeah.
And become the number one show in the market.
Dogs, take your city over, man. And it's not an easy thing to do. And it's a hectic thing. I'm gonna tell you the real story behind when you see me do this stuff. One or two people make that decision in an office, and they say, "Here's the group we have in front of us. Maybe no, bring this guy in." There's been 30 people vying for that position. I just walked in, and now I got it. And sometimes I look different, so right away there's adversaries in the building. There's naysayers in the building, and you're trying to navigate that. So the whole thing was a challenge. I talked to someone last week, and I was joking. I'm like, my career was super challenging, and it was. I think there was points where you're moving to a place you've never been. You don't know the good guys from the bad guys.
Right.
You're just trying to, and you're performing at the highest possible level that you could perform at. It's something that me and Remo talk about it all the time. I don't have a therapist. I just call Remo when he's at work. And
We're going to get you on payroll.
yeah, no, he's on payroll. Trust and believe he's on payroll. And just trying to figure out the nuances of this whole thing. It's not easy.
So because of that, what would you say, and the reason that was a lead into this question,
Mhm.
what would you say was some moments of heights that was like, you know what? Because I have to believe,
Yeah.
I have to believe you were so much on a bullet train that it had to be a blur.
It was.
It had to been like I
100%
don't even
a blur.
know like
Yeah, I was
I don't even
cooked
know
for a
how I
while.
got here.
I didn't drink as a kid at all. When I played sports in college, I didn't drink in college. I kind of like started when I got into radio more because it was free and available. A lot of stuff was fueled with like Red Bulls and vodka, like fired up at parties. Cause you bring me, you say, oh, we're gonna bring you to this thing, give you this radio job, you're gonna be at the club. It's great. Dude, you're walking into someone else's city, into their party, into their radio station, and you're trying to like move the needle at this thing. Nobody knows you. So it was really crazy. I don't know how I pulled it off. I should have quit a bunch of times, but I made like a commitment to this. And I felt really lucky. When we're growing up, you know this, like you're growing up and everybody's like, I'm gonna be this when I grow up. I'm gonna be that when I grow up. I'm gonna play in the NFL, I'm gonna play in this. And everybody has these kind of things that they talk about through junior high school, into high school. And I watch people just quit on their shit. And I was like, yo, you didn't even try.
Right.
I just said to myself, I'm gonna go all the way in and I'm gonna be the one that pulls it off. And then now you make that decision, the same decision I said that I'm gonna make this Division III basketball team or I'm gonna go do this. But even as a young kid, I was transferring school. I couldn't make this. I'll go to this school. Oh, this is cool. Oh, we'll go to this one. Oh, this is great. We're going to this college. I was not really hell bent on people, places, or things slowing me down from getting this.
Yeah, no's not an option. And
No, it's not an option.
The athlete in you that going through those, that heavy conditioning as far as mental dexterity and strength and willpower is what carries you through all that shit. So
when I started this conversation, I told you about how my parents had me like in that little podunk little area.
Yeah.
You know how when you get cut from the freshman team, you get cut from the JV team, you're like seventh man your junior year, and out of that group, you're the only one that plays college basketball. Do you understand the effort?
Yeah.
From 16 to 20, I was like laser focused to do this. It saved my life. Like just going and playing Division III, getting recruited, doing this, that was enough of you got that thing in your head says, go do that, go do that, go do that. And you listen, the validation of that, now all I do is listen to the voice in my head. Right. I'm not listening to anybody else because the coaches were like, you'll never make this team.
Absolutely.
And then I went to prep school, come back, and I'm winning suicide. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like an animal. You said I couldn't?
Yeah.
I'm dunking this high over the rim now. You see what I'm, totally. The old Chinese proverb, once you see the road broadly, you can see it in all things. I did that. And then once I did that, I can do anything I put my mind to an extent.
Absolutely. No. And that's the, that is the secret to most things. I believe that, my grandfather used to say this to me all the time. He talked to me like I was a 30-year-old man when I was like 7.
Yeah.
And it's like those are like knowledge nugget grenades,
the best,
right?
Though. It's the best.
Knowledge grenades that go off like 20 years later.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what I'm saying? Whether you believe you can or can't, you're right. Right? Shit like that.
I said all the time to my daughter. Yeah, it's facts. And my mother really was like an advocate. My dad was on the fence with all of this stuff. My mother was like, no. And she put me on stage when I was 2.5. At fashion shows and like modeling things when I was really young.
Yeah, the blue eyes, I get it.
Threw me out in front of 4,000 people, and I was speaking with my hands, and so I was very comfortable to be around large groups of people and getting on stage. I was desensitized to it at a very, very young age.
With the way this, the way the world is today, specifically with social media and everything,
Yeah.
and people's skew of what success is and what it is not, because it's all for the optics. But
Yep.
how would you tell your younger self
Mm.
how to measure what success truly is?
I think that we talk about it all the time behind the scenes because you have to say to yourself, what did you get in this for? Did you get it? Did I walk into this saying, I'm going to get rich doing this? I never once said that. I never once said, I'm going to get rich off of this stuff. I said, I want to be on the highest level. I want to be respected. I want to be a part of it. And to be a part of it, even on whatever level that I am, oh my, what a gift, B,
Yeah.
to be a contributor to the success of artists or the shows we've thrown and the radio stations. God, it's a wonderful gift, man.
Absolutely. Let's get into a part of the culture which I think we have the most work to get towards to fix. This industry, hip hop is a young genre, right? But however, we have a tendency, unlike other genres, other like rock or jazz or even country, to, kind of dismiss our legends or when you get to
It's
a certain
terrible.
tenure. When you get to a certain tenure, so there's rock bands and there's jazz artists and country singers that tour. For Aerosmith is on tour next year. I'm pretty sure.
Metallica, every time, right?
So much so that the brand supersedes the whatever because they're touring with not even with maybe one original member.
Yo, people are wearing the T-shirts, don't even know.
Don't even know the song. Exactly,
Right.
exactly. So yeah, right now you go to Target.
They're big. It's a bigger than them, right? I understand what you're saying.
So, how do you feel about, and what do you think is the fix to get for hip hop to really pour into the legend acts so that first off, I don't believe that you can age out of talent.
No.
And you cannot age out of a skill set that you spent your whole life honing and you own that lane. Like there's
if the rest in peace to the guy, the member of Criss Cross that passed away. If he didn't go, we would be seeing Criss Cross performances right now. I think we're in a new space. Someone told me this recently. Instagram really saved the legacy acts in hip hop. Before Instagram licked off, it was a couple of guys. It was like Afro Man was doing shows, Biz Markie was DJing, but we didn't have the legacy kind of what we have now with everybody. And then when Go 95 started, I remember Rock Nation signed Jim Jones and Fat Joe. And I was like, those guys are kind of older. And they were like, no, they're coming up on 20-year anniversaries. There's going to be legacy celebrations. And to watch what Rock Nation has done with Fat Joe's career in the last 10 years is mind-boggling. How what they've transferred Joe into is this huge celebrity now.
Absolutely.
Much bigger than the rap stuff he did. And to me, it's really interesting to see the growth of these guys. Wu-Tang Clan going on tour again. Nas puts out 6 albums in the last 4 or 5 years. To me, I think that it's kind of moved into niche territory.
Right.
What we had, what you had, what I had when we were young, I think it's to be cherished because I don't think we're going to get it again the way we had it. I think that was amazing for what it was. Now we have Joey Badass over here doing something that's reminiscent over here, or we have guys that are going to fill those voids. But then you have the Playboy Cardi stuff and these other things which is, to me, hip hop. It's more like what punk rock is to classic rock. It's like another subgenre over here. And I don't really even consider it hip hop personally. Like they're rapping, it's a black artist, but if you look at the landscape and the climate, they're kind of filling where Korn was or where Limp Bizkit was. They're filling those spaces where you go to the show, it's all white suburban teenagers at the show. You're like, oh, this is the heavy metal of this era. We're in a new space. We're like, okay, so it's obvious right now. People have seen me for years doing what I'm doing. I stopped coloring my beard because it was burning my face, and I was trying to put it on, and it was fine sometimes, but sometimes it will burn, and I had it was awful. So I stopped doing it. I feel really good, but the nervousness of doing this is now I'm like waving the flag that I'm like obviously in my 40s or whatever. So this is rare space.
Right.
I think for okay, you have your star talents, right? Star DJs, marquee guys. But then there's another subsidiary of like, people like me, or they're like, still something, but not, I'm not Kid Capri.
Right.
There's a whole new day for people like me. I don't have to pretend to be young. I don't have to chase young things. Our group is underserved. They're looking for, people don't want me to go do young things. They want me to continue to do what I was doing before. So, and that's what they tell me when I we don't need that.
Right.
35, 45 people, they're not listening to mumble rap.
Right. No, not at all. But here's the beauty of it though. So there are a trove of young cats that appreciate
I believe
that
it.
because you cannot have a reverence for what was or what is, and a lot of these what is sampling what was. It's like
Yeah.
and like these kids, they're sampling the sample.
You're talking about barrier to entry earlier.
Yeah.
That alone sets us apart from this generation. All the artists, all the DJs had to carry crates, apprentice
Facts.
things, do things. These kids are respectfully getting right on, but the easier road doesn't build the strongest competitors all the time.
Right.
So now you've got a guy that's great. You're doing great, kid. We'll see you in 3 years. I'm on my 30th summer.
Right.
I'm never gonna quit.
Right.
The perseverance of this is.
Yeah. And you also have some key reference points to know how to gauge the climate because we've seen this shit in waves, right? We've seen it
Come and go.
Exactly, 100% time. So, when you came back to the market for 95.3,
Yeah.
when that was your resurgence, and actually, I believe it was the height of the local rap scene.
It was amazing.
And that, to me...
Perfect timing.
It couldn't have been...
Soundset was peaking. The local artist scene was peaking. It was really easy. I had helped kind of get him fired up. It's 06, 7, 8, 9. Get them going, but then they did the work on their own. And when I came back, I had a choice. I could go to Dallas and run like 3 or 4 throwback stations. PD them, afternoon drive them, and live in Texas, or I could go back and do Go 95.3, and I chose Go 95.3 because I knew the connection I had to the market. I knew the artists were really established and really flying, and I just kind of knew that they were going to let me do what was supposed to be done. Not what I didn't do what I wanted to do. I was trying to do what was right.
Yeah, you were one of those guys that was the voice of the city and is the voice. So I believe still, because as far as hip hop goes, like for a guy that came from New York, right? And back then radio was it. Like if everything you learned, what was hot based on what the DJs were breaking. DJs were breaking records.
Yes.
And this is something I know is kind of a lost thing on today. There's nobody breaking anything.
You can't really. You can't really break a record on radio. You have to break it through digital.
Right.
Just digital is everywhere. It doesn't make sense anymore. But no. They were breaking. You would go to the radio because it was the only place to hear the stuff that we're getting on the internet. Yeah.
It was the MySpace.
The white labels, the underground records that you couldn't get anywhere else. I used to drive in a 88 Chevy Silverado from like north of Boston to like southern Connecticut to tape Flex and to listen to them and try to tape them on like a boombox into the batteries and drive back and have the cassettes and stuff like, because it was
she was crazy.
The best.
That part of it is sort of like, it's like the sneaker game, right? It's like I remember having to go and wait in line at Dr. J's.
Of course.
And
Saturday morning.
Exactly. And that puts you in a different headspace. Yes. You appreciate it a little differently because of you had some skin in the game.
I'll tell you, man, I'm really appreciative of the era that I grew up in, the time that I came up in the music business. I got to see the analog world, the digital stuff come in. I got to meet all the executives and the people before they kind of cleaned house and everything. So going up in the Def Jam or Shady Records or all these different labels and being around those people as it was ending, but I still got to see it,
Right. So what do you see the future of this as far as the mass media is concerned, because this ain't going nowhere.
But this is it. What you're doing is it. You've got it. Like, we walked in and me and Remo were like, oh, God bless these guys with the real deal. Like, because there's a lot of people doing it, and I respect people that are, but dude, there's levels to this of professionalism,
Right.
of preparing the questions, the cameras, the lighting. Oh yeah, you're doing it phenomenal. This is what it is. And I think yeah, like, why would I put my effort into building something else for someone again where they could shut it off?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that again.
Ownership is key.
Yeah.
And so that, I think also the beauty of what you have done, whether this was intentional or not, and I'm gonna figure it out right now. The Peter Parker brand is 100%. It's you. So you are the brand. So this is something that specifically in the radio game back then, it'd chew you up and spit you out. That's just what the music business was. That's what it's built to do. You cannot crush movements. And you did it on multiple occasions in multiple markets.
I feel, and this is real, I feel like people are hip to it now, and they're a little shook because I don't do this in a malicious thing at all, but like, I get, okay, come get this job. If you do it mediocre, you make a little bit of money and maybe you get fired. But if you do it really good, you're going to make good money and you're going to stay there. Right. So it's like sports. Like, okay, I got to put the effort in. I would drive around in the car before I got on and do radio breaks all day long, running street promo, putting up posters, driving around. Hot 97.7, Boston's hottest hip-hop and R&B, Mr. Peter Parker hanging out on a Thursday night. Hey, caller, give us a call, 651-939-1977. I would just do the breaks over and over and over and over and over again. So the second the mics came on, I was just crushing the breaks. And they were like, this is your first time on the air? I said, I've been talking to myself in the car for 6 months. I went to college for this for 4 years. You know, like, I've been working at this to perfect this craft. And we got to a point where I got past just talking on the mic. Right. Now, how do we manipulate this tool to be able to really connect with people? And how when you lean this way and you move in and dude, it's like magic, man.
Right. Yeah. And then there is also something. It is a skill set and also a talent to be able to connect with someone. So I liken it to being a chef, and the only voice that you have as a chef, as far as what a dish is what that dish translates to the patron.
Yep.
It's the same as being able to have someone listen to you over the airwaves and feel, again, like the David Banner, to feel like they know you. So I remember the first time I met you, I felt like I knew you. Like I I probably did some real dumb and ran up to you, yo.
And I was very receptive.
You was very receptive.
Yes.
And you don't rember this, but it doesn't matter.
I have no idea.
So now I'm going to say you was a complete asshole. Now,
no, I believe that too. Because I used to be pretty lit too. Yeah.
Nah, you was mad cool.
That's
cool.
Really not. Nah. I mean, dude, I really I just dig people, and I dig unique experiences with strangers, and I don't know, this whole thing is just exciting. And there's a thing we used to talk about at Go 95. It's math times magic. There's a formula to this, how you do things, a structure to this thing. But inside the box that you build of structure, there's like a little bit of a feeling inside, and that's what I was really towards the latter part of my career really dialing in on, is how to really exchange of energy as much as it's words.
Absolutely. So I always tell people that my goal is, as a chef and as a musician, is to either recall a past favorable experience or feeling, or create a new one. And if I've done that, I've done my job.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people will forget what you said. They'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
And I have to work on that in my personal life sometimes, because I'm sharp in my personal life sometimes, and I know that it's not what I'm saying to them, it's how I'm saying it. Right. And I think it's maybe just a New Englander in me, or maybe some of the traumatic experiences I've had over the last 25, 30 years and personal stuff that kind of sharpened me a little bit.
Right.
And I have to work on that, because I really do want people to have a good experience when they talk to me.
Right. And for the most part, I believe that, you know how they always say that you shouldn't meet your heroes, right? Because it's like the Michael Jordan thing, right? Like you knew better because...
I seen him. I saw Mike at the Epic Event Center where the Trent Tucker tournament. He was there with Pat Ewing and Pippen and them. And I see Mike and I was like, hell no. I said, if he says anything sassy to me, I'm throwing all the sneakers away.
And he didn't care what he bought. You know?
No, good. But this close, I was like, that's all I need.
That's
But
it.
when you get to be like I was in the room with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and they were in a VIP section, and they left, and Hove like walked and brushed my shoulder. That's it. I don't need much else.
Yeah.
I don't need much else. No, now there's exceptions to the rule, right? So like you don't want to meet all your idols. I've met a few of them that have been not awesome experiences, and I'm able to separate that.
Right.
But there's people like DJ Premier, who is an unbelievably cool guy, a very like a gracious mentor, a friend. He's like exactly what you would want Primo to be, because I'm like the greatest producer of all time. The soundtrack to my entire...
I would say.
Now, Dr. Dre is great. Dr. Dre is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about DJ Premier, man.
Yeah, it's different.
Pete Rock, Premier.
Yeah,
guys, the difference is different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fire. If you could bottle what it takes to have the longevity of a career that spans...
You gotta have, no, but you have to have a level, you have to be operating with almost like a level of like spirituality to have a career that lasts over 5 to 10 years. You have to believe in yourself and in your mission more than you believe that the sky is blue. I wanted to be on the radio more than I wanted to breathe oxygen. And I would have done anything to make that happen. And I knew how to make the basketball team. I knew how to train my body. I knew how to run in the offseason. I knew how to get right. I knew how to fix my jump shot.
Right.
I could figure this out.
Right.
And there was a time in my life when I had a little speech impediment. I had my jaw fixed when I was younger. I was, maybe confidence wasn't always where it should have been. I think the biggest difference between me as a kid and me now is just the confidence.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just really feel secure in who I am.
That's dope.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that's the honest answer, man. You know what I mean? It's like you have to really, but you have to. I tell people, like, you put yourself into this. No one dragged you into being this thing.
Yeah, you didn't get recruited.
No, it's not who you put yourself into it. If it's not working out, take yourself out.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But yeah, you have to really believe that this is for you.
Right. And you hit on the nail on the head. That takes an enormous amount of confidence.
And Remo will tell you, I talk about the ills of this a lot.
Yeah.
I'm aware of the ills of it. I'm aware of the bad relationships. I'm aware of the shit. But this is my thing.
Right. Oh, and there's no, I was having this conversation with my daughter who's talking about, the new job versus the old job. I'm like, listen, baby, there's gonna be shit across the street.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be new shit.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first couple of weeks, maybe even a month, it'll seem like you made the greatest decision ever.
It's always shit.
There's gonna be, every place has their shit.
You do. When you get a job, it's not about how good it is going in. What's it look like on the back end?
Absolutely.
When we decide not to do this anymore, how is that going to go? And nobody wants to have that conversation in the beginning. And you have to be solid enough to be like, look, one day this is going to end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even if it's 20 years from now.
Hopefully in a good way.
Right.
But if it should so happen to go left.
Whenever it did, though, whenever it ended for me, I always was like, thank you for the opportunity, because I never took it lightly. When I was on DC radio, Cleveland, I did not take that lightly. I knew what was happening. And it was, it didn't work. We went this, cool. Nice, thank you very much. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. And you still have that, you can never take that. That can never be taken.
I wanted to flip the table over.
Yeah, of course you do.
My mind is like, I could really get up underneath this thing and flip that shit over, dog.
It's the lunch tray thing. We going back to the kid.
I'm tapped out, bro. I'm tapped out, man. It's New England stuff, man. Different.
That's what's up, man.
Different type of guy out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm gonna I will say, I can't let you leave here before I have to make a few points.
Yeah.
One of them is probably the worst thing I had to endure was my Yankees being up 4 games and then getting crushed.
No, this was
So,
we're
yeah,
talking
so this
20
is
years ago. It
yeah,
still
yeah,
hurt
yeah,
his
yeah,
feelings.
yeah. I still it's
2004.
I can tell you I was in Lifetime Fitness. I was
Wow.
in Oakland and I was watching it and I sort of felt the same way I felt about when I saw the first plane hit the tower. I'm like, this can't be real.
It cannot be
Yeah,
real.
this is obviously fake.
After it happened, when we won and we beat the Yankees, I remember sitting there in my living room by myself watching the TV, cannot believe this happened. Because we were like, we kind of knew it was going to happen. But when it happened, I was alone when it happened. And I was watching the TV and my phone rang. And the first person to call me and congratulate me when the Red Sox beat the Yankees was Dylon from Making the Band.
Oh, Dylon. Okay, that's
So
your guy.
I'm still friends with Dylon. Shout to my man Dylon Gilly. You're done, no. He called me up and he's like, yo, brethren. I'm like, Dylon? Like, I've been doing business with him, but that's so funny. Like, Dylon from Making the Band
That's
was the
crazy.
first one to call me, and we're still friends 20 years later.
That's crazy. But the footnote to that is that the Knicks are up 2-0.
No, we're not gonna, it's a long.
That's the footnote to that.
I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt, man.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right, before I let you go, man, we gotta do this lightning round.
It's been so nice, man.
Oh, no, we're gonna do this lightning round. All right, so pretty much we're gonna wrap up with some quick fire questions. Again, it's going to be a word or phrase.
Keep it short.
First thing that comes to your mind. All right. Favorite late night snack
Ooh, like gummies, like sour gummies.
of the THC variety?
Yeah, probably. So. I'm probably so cooked at that point that they're probably not. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nah,
Okay.
but like a Sour Patch Kid.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, that works. Okay. Most underrated hip hop artists.
Oh wow, most Pharoah Monch.
Facts. Hey,
It could be my GOAT personally, stylistically, like
Everything.
The catalog, you can compare other catalogs, but stylistically, Pharoah does not get the props as he deserves.
yeah, facts. Okay. Dream collaboration. I don't care what you're doing. Dream collaboration.
Dream collaboration. I would say probably me on the Boston Celtics. That's a collaboration that I think in my dream life that I'm like, you know,
Also like Mike.
I'm like
okay.
what Chris Herron should have been. You know what I mean? Like
Chris Herron was supposed to be that
GOAT,
yeah.
bro. He was one of the greatest, man. He had some issues.
Did you see?
Of course.
Okay, so
I read the book Fall River Dreams.
Yeah, dude is, and so I have some connections at Fresno State. So this was.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he's
respect to Chris Herron and what he's been through, and
absolutely.
his sobriety and the way he carries himself is a real amazing, awesome thing. Yeah,
absolutely. Go-to comfort food.
Oh, steak and cheese sandwich, like a steak bomb, right? So like in New England, we used to do them when I was back home. Steak and cheese, provolone cheese, peppers, onions, and then salt and pepper, but then also pepperoni, cut up very small, kind of sauteed up in the deal. Yeah, it's like a New England steak bomb.
All right, so are we talking steak or are we talking steakums?
No, steak.
Okay.
No, because the Philly thing, I got into a beef with a kid in the comment section about the sandwiches, and I was like, you keep all the cheese whiz down there.
Yeah, the whiz. So here's the thing with the whiz, man. So like, it's one of those things that if it's done correctly and it's not too much,
yeah, it could be great.
Right? The whiz
could be great.
The whiz works. It's like canned cheese. You can't.
I believe it.
You can't eat too much of that shit.
And growing up on like the easy cheese, like the kind of that. Yeah, I know what it is.
The shit with the crackers and the red stick. It's one of those things. But
some
provolone, yeah, it's a different ballgame.
What are you talking about, man?
I get it.
But like a go-to.
What kind of steak is it? Are we talking ribeye?
Yeah, like a nice steak and cheese, like you get at a mom and pop, not like a D'Angelo's or like a chain restaurant, like a mom and pop hole in the wall spot.
All right, and what are you having that with? Is it fries and chips?
I would say
is it
some French fries maybe, but I'm not a big French fry guy. So there's a couple of fries and maybe a Coca-Cola Classic or potentially some sort of iced tea. I'm an iced tea connoisseur.
I love iced tea too. I love iced tea. Yeah, I'm for sure iced tea connoisseur.
Yeah.
All right. One word to describe your journey.
Ongoing.
Facts.
It's ongoing. Not even close. It's ongoing. This is I would say could be stage 3. This is like 3.0.
Absolutely. I know you are more necessary and needed than ever. And the reason is there is so much minutia
I needed to hear
that's
that.
out there.
Thank you.
that the authenticity that you bring, and just naturally, like you just being you, bro. That is more so needed today than ever before.
This is so nice, this podcast. I wish you guys win every award and the man gets paid in the back. Everybody get paid, man. Get these guys a check, man. Nah, dude, I love what I do, and I was taught from real guys.
Yeah.
DJ Flex in DC, when I got there, took me in his car, his beautiful Mercedes Benz, beautiful with the like butterscotch interior, beautiful white, driving me through the neighborhoods, teaching me about go-go music, teaching me about what DC culture is. This didn't fall on deaf ears. You know what I mean? Like I admire the and being a person that was hidden kind of away from culture, I was looking for this stuff. So yeah, dude, I'm really appreciative that I've been able to do this for this is my 30th summer DJ.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, do me a favor and tell all of our listeners out there exactly how to support you, where they can find you, how to follow you, all the things, what you got coming up.
Yeah.
If it's up to me, and I'm gonna have a say, because I'm gonna be knocking on the door. There's gonna be some things happening.
No, we gotta cook.
Oh yeah, we got some stuff to do.
We got
some stuff to do. So tell the people where they can find you.
Easy, man. At Mr. Peter Parker on all social media across the board. No dots or spaces. On TikTok, it's at the real Mr. Peter Parker, because I got on late. But
we gonna buy that.
We'll figure that out. But yeah, no, I do pretty much all my business off Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that right now. I do like a bunch of stuff out here in the Twin Cities. I have a ton of ticket giveaways going on with Live Nation on my page right now. I have events with Oasis out here doing like a Crave Rooftop and a basement, all these different things. We do 80s brunch. 80s brunch on Saturdays and Sundays in Uptown. But if you follow me on Instagram, I will show you exactly what I'm doing.
Follow Mr. Peter Parker
That's
on
it.
Instagram.
Heavy hitters, man. We outside, man. Shout out to Remo Williams. Been carrying the phone for me for like a year, shooting all my videos, helping me with everything. I could not do this without Remo. I struggled 2-3 years ago. I didn't know if I was going to retire or not. I felt after 25, 30 years of this, where I was trying to find my space in this. I tried to do some other things for a little bit. I was in this crazy shooting. This bunch of stuff happened. And I just needed like a new partner. And I needed somebody like a wingman, because when you're a public figure on any level and you're out in public, you can't watch your own back and things. And you don't know. Yeah. You don't know. You could be a target. So one time for my brother, Remo Williams, I thank him kindly for his efforts.
Absolutely.
And he's been a great partner for the last year, filming videos and just putting up with my insanity.
It's always good to have that one.
It's my brother. He's amazing.
Yeah. Remo's the guy.
He's the man. And we have a lot more in store, too. Like, you know, my marketing company with all these different concert events. We're doing that, parties. And hopefully I can get back into this space.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. And back here for sure. There's some stuff to do. There's some stuff to do. And we can also, there's going to be some text messages about this. I think the Knicks are going to take it in, I'm going to say, it might be. Maybe 5.
I told
Maybe
Remo last week, I said, listen, man. You got 18 of them things, man.
Every once now I got it.
You got 18 of them
whenever
things,
somebody
man.
whenever somebody say I got it, now I got to bring up my Yankee card, because we 27 times.
No.
So
that's what I'm saying. I know who the Eagle Empire is, my guy.
So 27 times.
Trust me. My wife watches. She goes, Aaron George. She doesn't. Aaron George makes me. Aaron George makes me nervous. Aaron George is too big. He's like, I said, I know they put steroids in.
Oh, here we go.
No, listen. We love in my house. One time I brought home a Yankees hat when I was really young because it matched an outfit, and I went into the bathroom and I came back around and I was like, "Where's my stuff?" And he was like, "Oh, that piece of garbage I left out on the porch. I can't bring that back in the house," and I had to go exchange it the next day.
Damn.
He wouldn't let me bring it in the house.
Hatred is real.
It's fact.
I get it. I listen. I had shout out to my boy Corey. So I grew up with one of my really good friends, Corey. He was a diehard Celtics fan.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, where the fuck did you come from, bro? Like how we're in the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
So how are you a Robert Parrish fan?
Oh, the best.
Like
the Chief.
The Chief. How are you like
the Chief?
And oh my God, he was like everything about his game was very square bearish too, but effective.
Of course he was. That's why he connected with them guys. McHale and all elbows.
Yes, yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, I went to D. Brown's basketball camp when I was in high school, and 2 years in a row with it's D. Brown, Robert Parrish at a camp. I went 2 years in a row, and now me and D kind of talk a little bit on social media, and I'm like, man, I love social media. You can be friends with your idols.
That's me. Yeah,
no, we're good. No, but we can wrap this up.
Yeah, man. So again, follow Mr. Peter Parker on social media, IG specifically. Check in on him. This has been the Taste Music Hear Food Podcast Show. I am your guy, Ed Porter. Till next time, peace.
Eddie, thank you, man. So kind, man.
MBC. No relation to NBC.